Alrighty, thank you everyone for joining tonight's call. I'd like to welcome you to the Virtual Academy of Lincoln Consolidated Schools information session. My name is Lauren Lichtenberg, and I'm the Family Engagement Specialist for Pearson. I also have Audrey Harrell on the call with me, who is the District Partnership Specialist. From Lincoln Consolidated Schools, we have Regina Winborn, who is the High School Assistant Principal. We also have Corinza Smith, who is the Director of Curriculum and Instruction. And last but certainly not least, we have Vicki Corey, who is the Communications and Information Services Director. We appreciate you taking some time out of your evening to join us on this call and learn a little bit about what the Virtual Academy looks like for Lincoln Consolidated Schools for the upcoming fall, as well as what you can expect from the Pearson platform for your student and as they continue to complete their education this fall. What you can expect on the agenda for tonight is a little bit more about the Virtual Academy of Lincoln Consolidated Schools. We'll also review the personalized instruction and quality teaching. Additionally, we'll go over our outstanding curriculum, seamless technology and superior learning. And then last but not least, we will take some question and answer at the end. If you have any questions that pop up during the duration of the call, feel free to put those in the chat, and either a representative from Lincoln Consolidated Schools will be able to answer those for you via the chat or on the call, as well as the Pearson team will be able to answer any questions you may have. With all that being said, I'm going to hand things over to Corinza.
Good evening, everyone. Again, thank you so much for being with us this evening. We really wanted to spend some time going over our virtual academy for Lincoln Consolidated Schools, as well, like Lauren said, just to give you information about the new platform that we're going to be using. The Lincoln Consolidated Schools Virtual Academy, this is going to be 100% virtual, just like it was this year, and it is for students in grades kindergarten through 12th grade. The students will remain online and move at their own pace. So this year we talked about that word asynchronous learning, and they will move through the courses with ongoing communication and regular feedback and support, which will be provided by Lincoln Consolidated Schools teachers. This academy is designed for the independent, intrinsically motivated student, and is an academy that Lincoln Consolidated Schools plans to continue to implement for our families that prefer a virtual option for their children. Last year, we used the Lincoln Learning Solutions as our platform, but based on feedback that we received from several stakeholders, our staff, students, even our parents and families, we are changing the platform to Pearson. And so we are so happy that they're with us tonight to go through their information with us. And their courses, just so you know, are extremely rigorous and they challenge the students. And just so you're also aware, several resources were vetted in terms of platforms. So Regina took information back to the staff. So we had a lot of different stakeholders kind of looking at different resources, and we thought that Pearson would be the best for our Lincoln students. And so I'm very excited that we are partnering with Pearson as our platform to use for our virtual academy. Next slide. So just some bullet points about the virtual academy here for Lincoln. So students are enrolled in the virtual academy. They are still considered Lincoln Consolidated School students. We are asking that families commit to the virtual academy for the entire 21-22 school year. All of the classes will be led by qualified Lincoln Consolidated teachers. Students who attend the virtual academy may also participate in sports and other extracurricular activities. So we wanted to make sure that families were very aware that if you're enrolled in the virtual academy, you still will be able to participate in sports and other extracurricular activities. And then students who are enrolled in the virtual academy, they will be provided a technology device through the district. Our next slide will be presented by Regina Winborn, who is the high school assistant principal.
Good evening. So as well as being the high school assistant principal, I was also the administrator in charge of the virtual academy this year. So just so you know, just some basic FYI points for you to understand about the virtual academy. Students will have access to their teachers during office hours, email, text messaging, and through social emotional lessons. One of the reasons why we chose Pearson's is because that they have an actual platform within their system to do a lot of these things. So it would not be traveling in and out of systems. So we wanted to do something that was much more concise for our parents. Teachers will provide timely feedback for the students, their assessments and their assignments. We will be complying with any IEP or 504 expectations. We will have special education staff that is assigned to the virtual academy. That's generally the special ed case manager. The ancillary staff will be shared throughout the district in other buildings. High school students will be assigned to their counselors, just like normal. It will be their alphabetical counselor. So if they choose to go back to the brick and mortar school the following year, they will have the same counselor, so to make sure that they are up to date with their class schedules and meeting all of the graduation requirements. However, if students are wishing to participate in the RCTC or the Southwest Consortium classes, they will have to attend the brick and mortar high school at this point. We don't have the ability to transfer students in between the high school and the virtual academy at this time. And also teachers will be building relationships with their students to ensure that they feel connected and provide resources for students and families when necessary. And as Corinza said in the previous slide, students will still be able to participate in any sports or any extracurricular activities that they would like to participate in so that they can still be a part of the Lincoln High School community. And I will turn it now over to Lauren from Pearson.
Sorry, guys, I was on mute. Thank you, Corinza and Regina. So here at Pearson, we offer a world-class educational experience and provide you and your child with an easy-to-use online learning system, curriculum including core, electives, and advanced courses, as well as experienced and individualized attention. We do all of this while giving your student a safe and secure learning environment. Your child will thrive in a flexible environment built for his or her individualized approach to learning. As you all know, in light of the pandemic, many families have sought out opportunities for at-home online learning due to a variety of reasons, such as medically fragile students or family members we have seen. We've seen this evolve from supporting students to students who now enjoy the virtual learning environment and prefer it over in-person learning. We have seen some students go from struggling in the classroom to truly excelling at home, and they want to maintain that structure. Many families who have been homeschooling their students may also be seeking more structure and the ability to keep their student home while having the flexibility to participate in extracurriculars. With more scheduling flexibility, our online program is ideal for families. Schoolwork can be scheduled to accommodate travel, music lessons, sports practices, other activities, and all while doing this without falling behind. Our virtual program offers a world-class educational experience. With support from our solution and caring teachers, your child will thrive in a flexible environment. We provide you and your child with an easy-to-use online learning system and advanced courses. Our parents or other parent-designated caring adults will serve as learning coaches and play an active role in the learning process, providing input and communicating regularly with the teachers. The learning coach helps keep students motivated and on track regularly to help communicate with the students' teachers. At the high school level, the learning coach is a little less involved with daily instruction, but is encouraged to continue serving as an important supervisory role for the student. Our program offers an exceptionally comprehensive and flexible curriculum that is aligned with state standards. Our curriculum brings together materials from the best academic publishers and interactive online tools that brings concepts to life. We offer a 21st century online curriculum for 21st century success, with hundreds of courses for anywhere, anytime learning. Our online curriculum is a highly effective alternative to a traditional public or homeschool curriculum. It's designed to help students gain the knowledge and thinking skills they'll need for life, work, and higher education. At each grade level, structured lessons are blended with self-paced learning to ensure that each student reaches his or her full potential. These courses also develop skills in the important 4 C's of the 21st century learning: critical thinking and problem solving, communication, creativity and innovation, and lastly, collaboration. Our core courses meet and exceed national and state standards. They include language arts with English for every grade level and a wide variety of social studies courses. There are traditional mathematics courses, as well as advanced math and a diverse range of science and technology courses. Additionally, we offer a wide selection of elective courses. The social sciences, humanities, and arts are well representative, and courses are also offered in general studies, educational technology, health, and PE. Our curriculum incorporates best-of-breed resources from the nation's leading education publishers to offer this high-quality online school program to students. Virtual Academy of Lincoln Consolidated Schools has partnered with Pearson Online and Blended Learning. Pearson Online and Blended Learning is accredited by Cognia and is nationally and regionally recognized. We believe in providing an educational environment that removes barriers to a student's opportunity to learn and the ability to demonstrate that learning. Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG 2.0, covers a wide range of recommendations for making web content more accessible by partnering with providers who meet these standards. We help a wide range of people with disabilities, including blindness and low vision, deafness and hearing loss, learning disabilities, cognitive limitations, limited movement, speech disabilities, photosensitivity, and a combination of these. WCAG 2 is currently the highest level of accessibility seen at the school level. Next, we'll jump into the seamless technology and superior learning here at Pearson. To provide a superior learning experience for students, seamless and intuitive technology is required, and Virtual Academy of Lincoln Consolidated Schools has this with the Connexus EMS learning platform. Connexus EMS is where students will log in and work on their courses. We will provide a well-rounded education. This includes an outstanding curriculum aligned to Michigan standards, ways to stay connected and be involved in your child's education, and ways that you all can take the journey together to provide quality and success to your student. Additionally, many families who have chosen the online education to create an environment that's not only safe, but also nurtures their values. Parents tell us they cherish the extra time with their children and the memories that last a lifetime. We'll jump into this and show you the resource in the platform itself here in a minute, but what we're going to review is Family 411. Family 411 is a great resource for families. It's an all-in-one online family resource that is an exclusive web portal tailored to a family's needs and is available to you all 24/7. Whether you're new to the virtual learning or you're one that is returning for another year, Family 411 is designed to help begin and continue the school year with confidence. It offers a wide range of helpful learning tools and resources, including recorded orientations, tutorials, how-to guides, and digital learning tips. Family 411 will provide resources designed to help families navigate the educational management system and help support and motivate your students. It includes access to a series of on-demand videos and assets to prepare your family for the start of school and support you during this transition from brick and mortar to virtual. The content on Family 411 ranges from platform training to setting up your home classroom to creating a daily schedule. There's also an online orientation course available through Pearson Connexus. We try to make it easy for you to stay connected, and the customer support team is always available to assist with technical difficulties, login help, course navigation, or anything else regarding the Pearson Connexus platform. As a parent or caretaker, you have unlimited options for being involved in your students' education. I'm going to pause the presentation here, and I'm going to jump into the platform to show you all a little bit of what that looks like. So let me share a different portion of my screen for you all. One moment here. Okay, Audrey, could you give me a thumbs up if you all can see my screen? Okay, so here we're logged into the student app of Pearson Connexus. So if your student were to log in for the day to finish their coursework, this is the landing page that they will land on. The most important thing that your student wants to accomplish on this platform is what to do, how they're doing, and how they can effectively communicate with their teacher. The other great thing about this platform is that there is many ways to navigate the information. So here you can see that the announcements can be found immediately upon logging in, as well as up here in the top right corner, the student can access announcements. This will allow the student to receive announcements at the district level, as well as from their teacher. So let's say the teacher wanted to let the students know that a live lesson was being hosted this week. This is where the student could access that information, as well as maybe the district wanted to let everybody know that school will be closed on Monday due to the 4th of July holiday. This is where these announcements can be found for your student. And they can also be found here in the main navigation menu in the top left that we call the hamburger screen. On their main landing page, the student has the ability to change how it looks for them. So up here in the top right where it says Kiersey Anderson, who is our student that we're logged into, Kiersey can change her settings. This will allow her to change the colors, to personalize it to herself, and they can even change their profile picture. It's sort of like a virtual locker room for your students. Additionally, on this homepage, the student can access their to-do list, which will let them know the activities they have to complete. And then it will also show their activity stream, which is any activities that have been completed in the system or any badges or activities that this teacher has assigned to the student. We're going to go ahead and review the main navigation menu really quickly. On this main navigation menu, the student can jump to the home screen. They can access any notes that they have made within their curriculum. They can access their overall gradebook. They also are able to access the announcements here. Again, they can communicate with their teacher via these announcements. Next, they have webmail, which is an internal communication system. It's virtually like an internal email. This is where the teacher and the student will communicate with each other into the platform. There's also a calendar, which will break out when the student has activities due by the day, by the week, or by the month. Live lesson is where the student will participate in live lessons that the teachers are hosting via Adobe Connect. This could also help the student have one-on-one tutoring sessions with the student, one-on-one meetings with the teacher, and also we'll go over this in the observer view, but the teachers can also host parent-teacher conferences via this live lesson. And then we also have Check My Work here, which is a plagiarism tool. So if any of the teachers require the student to submit work via Check My Work, this is where they will do so. And then this is another way for the student to access all of their coursework. This is a demo platform, so the student is enrolled in quite a bit of classes, but normally your student will only see the classes that they are enrolled in for the upcoming year. I'm going to go back to the home page and we're going to jump into a course. We're going to jump into this Language Arts 2A here. And typically on these tiles, the student will be able to jump right into an activity. They'll be able to access their gradebook for the course right from the tile. And they'll also be able to see their progress and their current score. So we can see here that Kiersey has currently 100% in the student orientation course, and this is how much progress she has completed. But now we're going to jump into Language Arts 2A. And when we jump into a course, it will provide the student with a variety of information. It is asynchronous with synchronous support, meaning that the student is allowed to complete the course at their own pace, but they will always have the support from their teacher. The course guide here in the lesson is essentially a high-level overview of what the course entails. I apologize. The course guide is essentially a syllabus and is the scope and sequence of what the student can expect in the course. The student will also have access to a backpack, and within the backpack will go over course materials, which will include materials that Pearson will provide your students, as well as some materials that the student may need to provide themselves. This is typical of what you would see in a traditional brick and mortar, so paper, pens, notebook, etc. If there are any materials listed here that you might not have in the home, please reach out to your teacher. This could be something like for math, the math teacher asked for 10 pennies and they may let you substitute 10 pennies for, let's say, 10 nickels. So just make sure to check your course materials as to what you as the student or the family need to provide. There will also always be a list of glossary terms. So any terminology that will be used within the course that maybe the student would like to find. There's access to web links where Pearson partners with over 50 of the best in breed vendors to provide the student with continuation of activities to help guide them and engage them throughout their learning. And last but not least, they will have access to resource packets. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into a lesson. And again, this is a Language Arts 2 class. So this is second grade language arts. And here you can see in the top right, there is this ear icon. All of our lessons have a text-to-speech feature. The text-to-speech feature will allow the screen to be read by hitting the play button.
Sorting sounds. Watch and think with Lion. The activity.
It also has screen reader, which will highlight certain areas that will block out certain parts of the page that will help the student guide them along their reading. It also has magnifying glass, so it will allow the student to magnify a certain part of the page. They can also adjust their settings by changing the text highlight color, the speech mode, the pace of the reader, and they can also translate all of the page from English to over 100 languages. We've partnered with Google Translate that will allow the student to translate the page into whichever language they need for their learning.
Save.
Oh, sorry. Some of our pages have screen reader, where if we press this play button, it would read the screen as well. This is not embedded in every single lesson, but you will always have the text-to-speech feature on every lesson. Going back to the WCAG 2.0 compliancy, our learning buddies here at the K through 5 and all of our content within Pearson will always be WCAG 2.0 compliant, which means there's intent with the design for accessibility. So there's intent behind the contrast used, the color used, there will always be closed captioning, etc. And this is helpful for students who have learning delays or disabilities. Again, the Learning Buddy is utilized from K through 5, and we do not utilize a Learning Buddy at the middle school or high school level. Additionally, at the elementary school level, we practice the I do, we do, you do model. So the Lion, in this instance, will model a practice. Then they will share that practice, the student in the Lion, and then the student will be asked to complete an independent practice. At the middle school and high school level, we do the chunk chew check, where the student is given the concepts, they're allowed time to practice, and then they complete an assessment. So I'm going to play this video here for a few seconds just so you can see what the Learning Buddy entails.
I have 3 words and 1 word does not belong. Listen to the sounds in the middle of the words to help me figure out which word does not belong.
So the Lion is asking the student to listen to these 3 words and establish which one does not belong. So throughout this video, the Lion will model the practice, then they'll share it in the practice, and then down here, the student will click out.
Mouse icon sort words with short and short I practice.
Sorry, my screen reader is still on. We'll click out to this activity, and the student will complete an independent practice, again, identifying which of those middle sounds do not belong. So we have hat, bat, and sit, and we'll check
Fantastic.
that. And then the student will continue on through the rest of these activities. Additionally, within the course, the student is able to take notes. So up here in the top right, there is an icon, and you could click here, and we can see Kiersey on March 11th made a note that says middle sounds are not the same. The students are able to take notes within every single course, and they can also access their notes for all of their courses on that main navigation menu. Back into the course, the student is able to access their gradebook via this gradebook icon here, as well as in the main navigation menu. The student is able to calculate a what if scenario. So let's say Kiersey wasn't doing so well in this class, and you as the parent said, hey, Kiersey, you have a trip coming up in a few months. You need to get an 80% in this class in order to go on the trip. Kiersey and her teacher can work through a what if scenario here to help Kiersey identify how she needs to perform for the rest of the year in this course to get that 80%. Additionally, Kiersey can complete a student self-assessment, which is up here in the top right, and is a great way for her to communicate with her teacher. Kiersey will click this heart icon, and she can let the teacher know she's not really understanding the material, but she's really interested and she's putting in a lot of effort. And then she'll hit save here, and that will then be given to the teacher, and the teacher and Kiersey can have a conversation about why Kiersey might not be understanding the material, and then the teacher can help facilitate Kiersey's success throughout that course, throughout the rest of the year. All right, now that we've reviewed the student section, we're going to jump into what the observer role looks like. So I'm just going to log in as Kiersey's parent. And Kiersey's mom, Eva Smith, has 3 students. So if you had multiple students enrolled at Lincoln Consolidated, this is what your landing page would look like as a parent or observer. So to keep things the same, we're going to jump into Kiersey. And you can see here that when Eva jumps into Kiersey's profile, it looks just like Kiersey's view. So the parent is able to access the platform the exact same way Kiersey is able to access hers. There's 2 main differences. The parent is not able to complete any coursework or change any grades. And as the parent or observer, you have a resource called Family 411 that I briefly talked about during the presentation, which you can find on the main navigation menu here. So I'm going to click out to Family 411, and it will open up in another page. Family 411 is, again, a 24/7, 365 days of the year resource for you as parents. It allows you to access orientation and tutorials. It can help you get started with your virtual experience. It can help you with daily tasks and provide you with other resources and instructional support to stay connected. So I'm going to jump into this Getting Started tab here just to show you all a great resource. That's one of my favorites in Family 411, and it's this Creating a Daily Schedule right here. That will also open up in another window, but this Creating a Daily Schedule will allow you to plan ahead for your students' learning and help them be successful for this upcoming school year. It will allow you to create a daily schedule by providing you with a template, and you can fill in that schedule for your student. So let's say Kiersey doesn't do so well learning in the morning around 8, 9 a.m., and she'd be more successful in her day if she started a little bit later at 10 a.m. You can tailor Kiersey or your student's day to what best fits their learning style. You can also accommodate other events like a doctor's appointment. So say Kiersey normally at noon would be working on her science, but she has a doctor's appointment. You can schedule her day so she can still attend her doctor's appointment, and maybe she works on her science and social studies later on. You can also accommodate schedules for multiple students. So if you have multiple students within the platform, it will allow you to coordinate a schedule for all of your learners to be successful. Again, this is provided to all of our families enrolled in the Pearson platform, and it's a 24/7, 365 days of the year resource. I'm going to jump back into the presentation really quick and open things up for questions. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, well, I'm going to leave this screen up for a moment. And if you don't have any questions for us this evening, you can reach out to your administrators at Lincoln Consolidated by visiting lincolnk12.org. And if you have any questions about the enrollment process, please reach out to enrollment@lincolnk12.org. Oh, we have someone who is raising their hand. Hi, Amber, did you have a question?
Yes. Okay, so my son, he has ADHD and he has the learning and everything disability as far as that. So how is now are the teachers, you said they're there, they can just come message them any time of the day, or am I getting that right?
So in the Pearson platform, they can email their teacher at any time of the day. As far as when they would receive a response from the teacher, they may not receive a 24/7 response from the teacher. It may be next day, depending on the time that your student reaches out to them. But through the Pearson platform and that webmail option, yes, they can communicate with their teacher at any time.
Okay, and then by him, he will be a senior. So how do they do like senior projects and stuff like that? Is that they just don't do that, or?
Regina, I think that's a question for you.
No, that ain't what did he, what?
Was that, I was trying to wait, were you trying to ask a question?
Yeah, I was trying to find out, by him being a senior, will they do like senior projects and stuff like that, like they normally would do in a brick and mortar?
Well, in the brick and mortar, it's the senior projects and things happen within each course. So he would just be expected, or she would be expected to just complete the assignments and whatnot for the inside the platform. And seniors, there is no testing that they physically have to come into the building for. But if there's something that is needed for them as far as graduation requirements or things that we want them to be involved with, because they are still a Lincoln High School student, their counselors will be giving them that information just as we would give to anyone else. So they'll still get all of the information that every other senior receives or have the same expectations.
Okay, and then as far as, just one more question, I'm sorry. He didn't take his SATs last year, so how would he go about doing it? Would he take them in the virtual?
What he would have to do is we would connect you with the counselor, and so that when the SATs happen in the fall, that he would be able to actually come in the building and take the SATs when the other students take the SAT.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
We do have two questions in the chat, and Audrey, I might have you jump in on this first one. Melinda asked, what is the social emotional learning aspect?
That's a great question, Melinda. It's something that coming out of the pandemic, we as an organization and our curriculum team are really focusing on, recognizing that there's always been a need for social emotional learning, but now more so than ever. And so we are committed to incorporating social emotional learning lessons at the beginning of every unit within the courses that we're rolling out. We have a handful of courses rolling out for fall, and obviously there's a roadmap to continue to do that, just like you have in your classrooms, and new curriculum is rolled out and adopted. We are rolling out new courses, and the new courses contain, like I said, at the beginning of every unit within those courses, there is a social emotional learning lesson that is grade appropriate, developmentally appropriate. They are developed based on that CASEL framework and cross-aligned with Teaching for Tolerance. So you're going to see different aspects of that framework present based on your students' age and grade in those lessons that present themselves at the beginning of every unit.
We have another question, and this one is for the district. Can you use your computer, or do they have to use the school's computer?
They're more than welcome to use your own computer. It is helpful if they do have a school computer. If there are some technical issues, we're able to help them with, but by all means, you're more than welcome to use your own.
And then Vicki, I think we have a question for you from Tisha Wilson. She's asking if she has to enroll her student for the upcoming school year if the student was virtual online last year.
So we asked families earlier this spring if they were planning to stay virtual. If you told us yes, then you're good. If not, you can email the enrollment at Lincoln K-12 and let us know your student's name and that they will be remaining in the virtual program.
And then
Lauren,
I know,
can I
Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. There is a question that I know will come up for some of our families for technology purposes. We have our kindergarten through second grade generally are given iPads, and 3rd through 12 are given Chromebooks. How does this platform work with iPads, and should we plan on our K through 2 students to get Chromebooks instead of the iPads?
We had 2 more questions pop up in the chat, and if anyone has any additional questions, feel free to keep popping those questions in the chat or raise your hand and we can let you speak on the call. But Angela Massey asked, when do the 9th graders get their schedule? The schedule, as far as the Pearson platform, will be uploaded in the calendar on the first day of school. As far as the district providing ahead of time, Regina, did you want to speak to that? But once they log in on that first day of school, it will be in the Pearson calendar.
That would be correct. And then we also would have to make sure that we know that that student is deciding to be virtual. And as soon as we know that information, then we will be able to provide that to families.
And then we have a question again from Melinda. We appreciate the questions, Melinda. Are the students able to reach out to other students to meet up that are from the same course or courses? She's heard of this with other virtual programs, and is this program bringing that idea in? So encouraging that sense of community by having in-person meetups.
I'll take this one. So we have talked about having students be able to come into the building or into a space so they could have that community building along with their teacher. So there might be a day where, you know, there's kind of in-person office hours where a particular student could come in and meet with their teacher, or a group of students coming in and meeting with their teacher. So we have had that conversation. Yes.
And then Tisha Wilson asked, when is the first day of school?
The first day of school is August 30th.
Mr. Zalub, I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. I also have a fun last name, Lichtenberg. Will this be offered for the foreseeable future? He has a son with autism that has done well in virtual learning, but it's taken away. But if it's taken away, he does not know how he'll handle being thrust into the school environment junior or senior year. So will this program be offered for the foreseeable future?
Yes, that is the plan. So Lincoln Consolidated Schools, we've actually had discussions for quite a few years about having a virtual option for our families. And so this is not something new. This is not a conversation that just happened because of the pandemic. This is something that we have been discussing and would like to continue, yes, for the future.
And then we did have Kristen ask a question. So for those families who joined late, I answered it in the chat. For those families who joined a little later, this presentation has been recorded and we will be providing it to Lincoln Consolidated. So if you missed the presentation, they will be providing the recording. So just keep an eye out for that when they choose to disseminate it or upload it to the website. So yes, you will be able to watch this presentation after the fact if you joined a little late. Okay, so we have another question from Christy. And she said, this platform seems like it would support slightly more independent learning than this past year for younger students. Her son's going into first grade. For example, instructions on lessons page can be read throughout the computer. Am I understanding that correctly? Yes, Christy, that's correct. The lesson can be read to the student. However, with those younger students, they will need that learning coach, AKA the parent or the observer, and to help guide them through the curriculum. So you wouldn't expect a kindergartner, first grader, second grader, third grader, fourth grader, maybe even fifth grader to sit in front of a computer for an extended period of time and be able to guide themselves through their coursework and complete it. I mean, I think even as adults, our attention span can be a little short. So there is the incentive for the parents to help guide their student through the curriculum at any age, but obviously with more support the younger the student is. And then we have another question regarding state testing. Did you want to be more specific about state testing? Are you asking if they will complete the state testing through the platform?
I can tell you in general how we've handled state testing is that the students would have to come into the building to do the state testing. Now, we may have to work out a few kinks because things are a little bit different this year, but it's more than likely that they would have to come in to do some of the state testing. The exception may be NWEA, where we are able to do that in a virtual setting, but the MSTEP, and if your student's a high school student, the PSAT and the SAT have to be in person.
So there's a question regarding from Amber Tompkins asking if there's any tutoring. So Lincoln Consolidated will be using their own teachers. And so I'm not sure what the tutoring standard is there. If someone would like to jump in from Lincoln, they can host tutoring sessions on the platform. However, I'm going to leave it to the folks at Lincoln to answer if their teachers will be providing that in a virtual capacity.
The teachers will be available for office hours. And so depending on the teacher, you could have your students sign up for office hours and to receive additional tutoring for the student. If they are a high school student, we do have high school after school tutoring. That would be in person. That they are more than welcome if they are a high school student to attend as well. Any tutoring that we have that are available to Lincoln students would be available to the virtual students as well.
Melinda Lawrence asked, will they know state testing dates ahead of time? Asking just in case of doctor's appointments, vacation, etc., scheduling purposes.
Yeah, so for the high school, we'll know like the PSAT, SAT dates, yes. And they normally send out a calendar from the state with our MSTEP dates on there as well. So yes, we can make sure that information gets to our families ahead of time.
These are great questions, everyone. Please keep them rolling in if you have any more.
Lauren, did you hear my question earlier about if it is compatible with an iPad? Is the platform compatible with an iPad, or should we plan for the families to have Chromebooks?
I apologize. Yes, the platform is compatible on Chromebooks.
Oh, Lauren, let me hop in on that one. Regina, I think your question is a good one because we have a lot of partners that use a variety of devices. The platform is compatible with Chromebooks. It does work on iPads. The trick with the iPads that we learned this fall is because of different district firewalls and the just intricate nature of how districts issue devices and the parameters and locks and different features on them, it makes it difficult to ensure a consistent experience across those devices. So if there is an opportunity to provide those younger learners with a Chromebook, we know for certain that there aren't going to be any hiccups and that works consistently. With the iPad, sometimes there are district components that are in place on those devices, just like with family devices. I mean, this fall, we tested and did QA across 6 different iPads, and each iPad responded differently. Some were district devices, some were private devices. So we know for certain a Chromebook is a consistently working device with the platform. The iPad, some of them work better than others just because of those different variables. Does that make sense? So if you have the opportunity to switch them out for Chromebooks, I think that would offer a better experience for your learners.
And that's what we have done is provided Chromebooks for anyone who's in the virtual academy. But I just wanted to make sure, just in case something changed.
That saves a lot of heartache for you and for us and for your families especially. So we appreciate that forethought.
So we have another question from Christy, and she said, what is the time engaged in learning expected to be for each day? She realizes it would vary per grade, but trying to understand this with respect to working full-time and guiding her son through school. This past year, they started with the expectation of several hours per day, which changed later in the year with a different learning platform. Thanks.
So I think that would be something that maybe Corinza or Regina, you guys can speak to, the expectation for students to be logged in, working synchronously with your district teachers, the time spent working asynchronously in the platform. What would be the framework that you guys have put out? Or that might be something that's evolving certainly too.
I believe that's going to be something that's evolving, especially once we get our teachers assigned to the virtual academy. I can envision that, it would probably have to be a little fluid as well, but also flexible for families, so that if you're not able to do the lesson within the 8 to 3 range and you have to push it back because of work or whatnot, I know that flexibility will be there as well.
I know last year they put out guidelines, just lots of different research-based guidelines of, how long a kindergarten student should be online, how long a first grader. And I feel like we gave out that information last year. And so we can find that and add it to the information that we'll be putting onto our website.
We had another question pop up that says, will the virtual schedule follow the district schedule for half days, closings, etc.? So Corinza, I'll let you take that one.
Oh, I was going to give that over to Vicki.
It would, for the most part, be expected to follow the same days because our teachers work that schedule. But that will probably be we'll learn some of those things with this new platform as we're implementing it early on.
Okay, Regina, I think this one might be for you. For high school students, do they need to reach out to their counselor to ensure the courses they need/want are available prior to enrolling? Or is there a general list of courses available through the virtual academy that they could reference?
If your high school student is planning on attending the virtual academy, I would say definitely check in with your counselor. We want to make sure that they are choosing the courses that are on the path for graduation for them. We do have a list, and the counselors will have a list of the courses that are available. And the kind of cool thing about this is some of the courses that are available through Pearson aren't necessarily available through the high school. And so if it's an elective course or something like that, you want to make sure that you're talking with your counselor. So I would definitely make a point of touching base with your counselor at the beginning of the school year or prior to the beginning of the school year. The counselors will be in generally the week before the teachers are in, and teachers are in about a week before the students are in.
Are there any additional questions?
I just want to say, as a parent of a rising first grader who had kindergarten in the middle of a pandemic, thank you guys so much for being innovative and exploring different options to meet the best needs of your students. And we really appreciate the awesome partners we have here at Lincoln Consolidated who were thinking about this before the pandemic and have now really broadened those opportunities for your students to make sure that they get what they need coming out of what's been a really unusual year and a half of school. So hopefully we're on the back end of this, but representing, moving forward in a positive motion. We appreciate the partnership here and the opportunity we have to serve your students and partner with your district in this way. So thank you so much for all you guys are doing for your students, for your kids. And we appreciate the partnership we have with your district and your incredible administrators that are on the call tonight.
Thank you all for your time this evening. Again, this will be recorded for those families that hopped in a little late. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to enrollment@lincolnk12.org if you're interested in enrollment, or visit lincolnk12.org for further information.
Hey, and Lauren, Lauren, sorry to interrupt you. We have one more question here.
Okay.
Oh, Regina got it. Way to go, Regina.
I was trying to answer it real quick before we hung up. Yeah, if your child already signed up for courses within the high school, the general high school courses are available through Pearson, and we will make every effort to make sure that those courses just transfer over. And again, talk to your high school counselor to make sure that, and they do check-ins throughout the year too, just to make sure students are on track for graduation.
Okay, we had one more pop in. So would the courses be,
Mhm.
would the courses be the same regarding middle school?
Yeah, those should be the same for the middle school as well. Middle school is a little bit easier because there's not such a variety of English courses or a variety of math courses. So yeah, those classes would transfer right over.
Alrighty, well, thank you all for joining in. And again, please feel free to direct your questions if you have any that pop up after this call. And we appreciate your time. Have a great evening.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.